Midweek racing action takes place out at Hollywoodbets Greyville, where we've got a 10-race program. Race number 1 is set to get underway at 11:05, so it is a very early start on the Wednesday, and we are racing on the poly track. Race number 1, 1,200 meters is the distance, a maiden plate, and joining me in studio is Deez Dynant. We'll get Deez's thoughts in a moment on race number 1. We'll have a look at the market, where Star in Motion tops the boards at 2-1. Number 3, Victor Hugo at 28-10. There's already been support for the first timer from the Frank Robinson yard, 1.3 million rand purchase, named Bangladesh, and this is a son of Buffalo Bill Cody, well-bred son of Buffalo Bill Cody. It's 9-2 about number 10, Emoyeni, and then you can get 12-1 and better bar those. Bangladesh related to the likes of Maharani, Marigold Atel, and those horses who did very, very well in their careers, and also related to Gurkha, we've seen here in KZN not too long ago when shedding his maiden tag, and the likes of Rani of Qatar as well. This is a first timer from the Frank Robinson yard. Obviously at the sales he was quite an exciting purchase for owner Sid Mudley, and Frank thinks quite a lot of this colt. And from gate number 4, poly track for the first time. We've seen Frank Robinson in the past, especially when he's had his first timers for Sid. They can be ready on debut, and they can put up a bold showing. And this horse, he could certainly be in the firing line.
Yeah, he looks like a horse that just on pedigree and on blood, that is going to be a bit better over further, and that is how I see it. 1,200 meters on the poly track could be on the sharp side for him. Just reading Frank's comments, very nice horse. Majors needed, but could run into the money. So trifectas and quartets is a must. But he's taking on some experienced horses here with some very good form. A horse like Victor Hugo for Lysander Woodruff. That first run at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, just finding Glenn Cotson's horse too good on the day, but I think we'll come on with that run. First run on the poly track, a good draw is always a plus. Star in Motion found a good horse first up in Count of Ruin, who will next see in the Gatecrasher Stakes from the Peter Muscat stable. So the 2-year-old wouldn't be a surprise winner, and not surprised that the fixed odds betting market got this at the top of betting boards. And Nimoyeni I liked last time out as a value, and found a big outsider, a first time at any price. I think 50-1 was the call of Kumara Naidu's run-up, City of Love, that came through as a shock winner that day, winning first up. So, whilst the unknown in the race is number 4, Bangladesh, personally, I think, between 3, Victor Hugo, 9, Star in Motion, and 10, Imoyeni, those 3 runners should dominate of the race runners. And if you're looking for a nice trophy for trifectas and quartets, my vote goes to number 8, Little Cracker, with the claim 4, and the last start wasn't the worst, so that could be a nice inclusion for quartets and trifectas. But difficult to single out a horse to have a punt on the head here, Rael, between numbers 3, 9 and 10. You mentioned the early anti-post betting support for number 4, Bangladesh. If there's any follow-through, maybe the guys who are working on course on the day can also get a comment from Frank Robinson. That'll be appreciated. But it looks like a nice race to try and catch a trifecta or quartet with the minimum spend.
Yeah, I think those could certainly be the way to play race number 1, 3, 4, 9.
Do you have a top
10.
choice here?
I think this was Victor Hugo. He's going to be the top choice. I think we would have just needed that last one. He was also slow out from the gate, and it was a delayed start to that race as well. A couple of horses that got scratched down at the start. So I think that that run would have brought him on, and the fact that he's returning 10 days later shows that he obviously pulled up well from that run. So Victor Hugo for me, yourself as well?
Yeah, just on the draw.
Yeah.
9 and 10 with the race runners, that is a slight concern for me. They'll need a little luck from their draw. So, if you're going to pick a horse purely on the draw, I think Ryle could be on number 3, Victor Hugo, as possibly the right horse in the race. But this is race number 1 with 11 races carded. It's a chance to bank some cash because the exotics will begin in race number 2. Well, race number 2 will start off the exotics. It's leg 1 of the bar pot at 11:40, an open maiden for fillies and mares over 1,200 meters. And you'll need to get on if you want to play this bar pot at 11:40. So we bring up the field, have a look at some betting. Number 1, Midnight Hour, is at 8-1. Number 2, Line in the Sky, is at 3-1. Then we got some money here for number 3, Run for Peace, who I definitely give a quartet chance to, maybe even trifectas. 33 to 1 into 20 to 1. Number 4, Bet Dutton is at 4 to 1. That's the first timer for Kanamea and Zaki. Number 6, Gorgeous Bomb, is at 22 to 10. Then we got a 7 to 1 shot in number 7, Champagne Problems. Horse number 10 is Papillon Blue at 11 to 2, and it's double figures the balance. First up, I'd just like to wish Tristan Godden a speedy recovery. Himself and Craig Zaki were involved in a nasty fall over the weekend. I see Craig Zaki is carded to race at the time of recording for Wednesday, Rael. But that was a nasty start to the bipod over the weekend, and horrific incidents. And thankfully, it wasn't as bad as it looked on television for both those guys.
Yeah, it is. Thankfully, both are on the mend. And Craig Zaki, as you mentioned, set to ride. And Tristan Godden, at the time, it was probably seemed to be a lot worse than what it may actually be. But hopefully he has a speedy recovery. And not a nice way to get Daily News Day underway, but nonetheless, hopefully they both recover nicely, and Tristan's back in the saddle fairly soon.
That was the start of the bipod as well, and of course now that the rule change, if our racing fans don't know, if you get 2 first-timers running first and second, then the first race runner also qualifies, regardless of the positions. If you get 3 first-timers running first, second, third, and a race runner qualifies as well. As long as the first 2 positions are with first-timers, a race runner would qualify. But if you get 1 first-timer and 1 race runner, that rule doesn't apply then.
Yeah, it took a lot of us by surprise on Saturday when we had seen the numbers in the frame and the dividends and whatnot. But that news has obviously come out in the last couple of days. This was a press release, and so bipod, for those that were throwing their tickets away, now they're going to be certainly holding on to it more carefully.
But it is a big help, I mean, the credit to the operator, because when you are going into an exotic with horses that are blind, it's for lack of a better word, it is unfair, You need some form to work with, so exactly. I think it's a good change. No,
it is, and especially like the race we saw on Saturday, race 2, I mean, there was very little to work with. And it was one of the money horses, and then one horse that didn't find any support that ran first and second. And for those that may have not included it, well, then luckily the first race runner home does qualify. So I mean, the pick 6 rule basically in a bipod now, and it's good for punters out there. I mean, gives you a great opportunity to be a winner.
This looks like a tough start to the bipod. I know that there'll be lots of followers of the filly number 6, Gorgeous Bomb, on the form that she represents. A horse like Line in the Sky for Manu Pandaram on that good last start. Even a horse like Papillon Blue for Pit Porter, poorly drawn, but there's some money from 6 to 1 into, I think, around 5 to 1 now in the betting market. So it looks like a race where I would possibly suggest 3 to 4 runners here in the bipod, because it doesn't look straightforward. And my roughie in the race is number 3, Run for Peace, just with that low weight in this open maiden, I think could possibly feature as well. How many horses for you?
Geez, I think it's tough. I think you touched on a few runners, and this horse Papillon Blue, I'm not sure about the distance, but on her form lines, wow, she's got some very, very strong form lines. I mean, when you pull out the penultimate run behind Klainsy is a winner. The filly that ran second, we have a situation that's come through to win twice. Beneath the Clouds winning from that form line as well. And the horse who finished well down the field in 11, Stu's Girl, coming through to win as well. And then from a last run, there's been a couple of winners, the likes of Vapor Trail and Father Christmas. So I think if this filly had a draw, and if the distance drop and trip doesn't catch out, I think she's a horse that they all need to beat from the Pete Porter yard. Gorgeous Bomb, interesting to see them trying her over 1,200 meters, because she seems to be an absolute ball of speed. And I think last time out she let the side down in a big way, as she did in a penultimate run. A filly that's loaded with ability, but she hasn't been able to put her best foot forward since. And then number 2, Line in the Sky, who met winners last time out. She's back against some maidens here with 59 on the back from gate 2. She's got to be a massive player for top honors as well. So I would think 2, 6 and 10. Those 3 horses could well be good enough to get you through leg number 1. But I'm going to make my top choice number 10, Papillon Blue, just on the form that she brings to the table.
Okay, 10 for Raheel as the top choice, but 2, 6, and 10 for the buy pot. Yeah, I agree with him with those 3 numbers for the buy pot, but my top choice is going to be number 2, Line in the Sky. As Raheel mentioned, took on winners last time out. She didn't jump on terms. I think that was what cost her. And from a good draw of 2, I think Kobelo's not going to waste that position. And if she gets away on terms, she'll have a strong winning chance.
Race number 3, this is the start of the place accumulator. 12:15 is the off time, and it is a D stakes over 1400 meters. Favorite, number 8, Gorgeous Dude, trading at 28-10. Number 2, Maccardi on offer at 7-2. Number 3, Victorel is at 4-1, along with number 5, number 6 rather, La Ultimo, and then you can get 8-1 and better Baldos. These are start of the place accumulator. What's your thoughts on this contest? These are horses that generally take on one another on a regular basis, but who do you like here?
I think the principles at the top of the betting boards between number 2 Maccardi and number 8 Gorgeous Dude. Between those 2 runners, or together, you should be good for the place accumulator. That form line behind Pangolo has held up well. Fireburst winning and running second. Eventador coming to the win as well. So it's a form line that you'd have to follow. The advantage goes to number 2 Maccardi from a good draw. Serena Mudley has picked up the ride. That is the jockey change with Tristan Godden not riding on Wednesday. So I don't think there'll be much between 2 and 8 with the draw and the barrier position. It's advantage Maccardi over number 8 Gorgeous Dude. So those 2 runners get my vote for the place accumulator. But if you're looking for one more, this early money, Forest Jump from 20-1 into 14-1 with young Nkolisi Mbuto claiming, I'll respect that. And I think 20-1 looked a big price about Forest Jump.
Yeah, I think that he could be the right backup in the race now. 10-1. If you miss the price, well, then it's still 10-1 on offer. But yeah, I think 2 and 8. I think you've summed it up nicely there. For Maccardi does come in with a 1 kg pull out the weights on that run, and his penultimate run when beaten half length. So that could certainly just swing things in his favour. And as you touched on the draw as well, so 2, 8, and then perhaps number 1 long shot in the race, Forest Jump, could be the 3 horses to play around in race number 3.
I'll be on to race number 4. It's the start of the big one. It's the Pick 6, 1250, 10-1, 2,000 meters. And this is a maiden plate. The betting is like so. Number 1, Silver Platter at 18-10. There is some money anti-post for number 2 from 7-2 into 3-1. Then we have horses in double figures until we come to number 11, Limelight Legend. That is trading at 9-2. I like a few roughies here, Raheel, who I'll give you the numbers for, trifectas and quartets, which I think could certainly boost that dividend. But when it comes to the Pick 6, it's all about decision time and what you are going to be doing in leg number 1. Because are you going to go with number 1, Silver Platter, who looks to be nicely placed against this type of field? Or do you think, as he always does in his career, especially his last 4 runs, he's going to find one better on the day? If he does just that, then I personally think with the number 2, King Saltilus, in the race, that could be the obvious danger. But once you look past those 2 runners, then it becomes an absolute nightmare to try and work things out. There will be followers of 11, Limelight Legend, behind Harun Al-Rashid last time out, where one must say that the horse was punted that day from 11-2 into 28-10 and didn't run badly, number 11, Limelight Legend. So I liked Limelight Legend last time out to possibly get the better of Harun Al-Rashid. It was a good run, but not good enough. But the draw is what puts me off with number 11, Limelight Legend. So it's either 1, Silver Platter, or I'm going to suggest wide, because numbers 2 and 11 I don't think will be the right backup if number 1, Silver Platter, has to fluff his line. So, I mentioned I like some roughies here. 3 Fire Force, 4 Black Platina, 7 Call Me Harriet,
No,
8.
6.
Yeah, 6, maybe, with Callan Murray up. But I prefer a horse like 8. I Am Classy ahead of that on that run to Harun Al Rashid. But the most interesting runner out of all of them for me is number 3 Fire Force, because he raced against winners last time out. And it wasn't the worst of run considering he faced Saxon Dynasty. So he's back in maiden company now. So he could be a big rocket here.
What are you telling me?
I'm telling you, it's either 1 or wide.
This, it's wide. It's not wide. It's
1.
It's 1. It's all in here, 1. In or out, leg number 1 of the pick 6. If Silver Platter does not win, I'm happy to go out.
That's it.
That's it. I think 2,000 meters will suit him a lot better. Gate number 1 is going to get a dream run in transit. His last 2 starts, penultimate run behind Bad Medicine, Gauteng form, he just found that too strong. Last time out, Western Cape form, Master Bomber was the right horse in the race, and he duly obliged. This race, there's no Gauteng form to work with, there's no Western Cape form to work with. He's the right horse in the race.
Draw 1.
Draw 1, he's got everything in his favor.
Goes on the poly.
If he gets beat, he's done for me.
Okay. Short and sweet for Rail Radhakrishna here. Number 1, Silver Platter. Nice to hear that confidence come through. I like the horse a lot, but I will be nervous going into the pick 6 here with Silver Platter. Not that I wouldn't be bankering him. It's a big saving when it comes to the cost of the perm. So we are going to be tipping number 1 Silver Platter as a banker in all bets here in race number 4. If he does get beat and you're playing against the grain and you're playing for the result, you could get a very good start to the pick 6 if he does get beat here, because I think you could get a rough result in race number 4 if number 1 Silver Platter doesn't put his act together. What's your mark out of 10 for him?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for Rail. I'm going to go a bit conservative. I like the horse, but I can't give him an A because he's found one bet at his last 4 starts. So Rail's a bit more confident than I am. Although I'm going to bank him in the pick 6, it'll be nervous moments in race number 4.
Race number 5, next up. This is a C stakes set to be run over the 2,000 meter trip, and the 5th race gets underway at 1. It is a start of jackpot 1 as well, so do take note of that. Make sure you get your jackpot bets on by 1. It is a wide open contest here. They bet in 9-2 the field, with Mr. Nibbles at the top, 5-1 about number 2 Queen Amina, Eventador number 6, Master Bomber 11 at 5-1. Ragnar the King is at 6-1 along with Nocturnal Flight. It's then 12-1 and Better Ball those. And it is a type of race where you want to be looking to perhaps go a bit wider in the exotics, because there could be a bit of a result in the making here in race number 5. I'm going to touch on 3 horses that I think will be good enough for place accumulators. That being number 2, the filly, taking on the boys Queen Amina, and number 11, Master Bomber, who I know was just a maiden winner at his last out, but I expect the form line to be franked in race number 4. And then number 3, Ragnar the King, who I think could well be crying out for this distance now that he goes over it for the first time. So 2, 3 and 11. But those are going to be my PA numbers. Pick 6 wise, I think you need to go a bit wide. And I think you like a roughie here.
Yeah, I like a horse at a big price here, as an each-way play. But you touched on Queen Amina. I must agree with you, especially, if she can bring that form behind Mocha Blend 3 starts back into the race. Mocha Blend has done very well for Frank, 3rd in the East Coast Cup. I think 3rd in the Will Avington as well. So she's run well, Mocha Blend, and she looks like a progressive filly, with a nice draw as well. Once you look past her, it becomes an absolute minefield. Mr. Nibbles winning a good race last time out, beating Terminator, coming through with a good finish at a big price. And then I like this horse called Ricardo. Although poorly drawn, don't be put off by that. He's a horse that does take a bit of time to unwind and find his stride. And go and have a look at the replay of his last start behind Regulation. Vernie King was in that race, come out to run 3rd behind Johnny the Thief over the weekend, and that was from a poor draw as well. Sereno gets the ride from Dennis Bosch again. He has partners horse 3 times for just that place, which came very early on in his career. So I'm looking at him as possibly a horse to be giving a nice patient ride. I think the pace will be on. He will be one of the faster finishers in the race, and he's trading at around 16-1. So he's my each-way player in race number 5, number 12, Ricardo. But it's an absolute nightmare to try and work things out when it comes to trifectas, quartets. But Rael, if your banker arrives in race number 4, Silver Platter, hopefully it does for the pick 6, then in this race I'm sure you'll be playing it as wide as possible because you've got some leeway with spend.
Yeah, Deez, I think even a horse like number 10, Banzai Pipeline, he's dropped quite a lot in the rating since his last win, now racing off a mark of 66. And his course and distance suited as well. Not entirely disgraced last time out behind Okavango, beaten about 4.5 lengths. So I think he could be a nice inclusion for trifectas and quartets. And you're looking for results in the pick 6. He's the type of horse, along with number 12, Ricardo, that you want to arrive just to boost those dividends. Because I think this race here, irrespective of the result, tickets are going to be falling away.
Yeah, it is that type of race where you want to play a trifecta or quartet. It is leg 1 of jackpot 1 as well. Race number 5, 13-25. Well, we're on to the 6th race now. It's a middle stakes for fillies and mares, 1,600 meters the distance. And there's some nice fillies that take their place in this race. I really like the look of this field as we bring it up and have a look at some betting. Number 2, Jean Dark at 9-2. Then we got number 4, which is the most interesting runner in the race. Goodness gracious me, number 4, 28-10. It looks very attractive, those odds. Number 5, Lock and Key at 7-2, 6, Royal Invitation at 8-1, 7, Fireburst at 33-10, and then a horse that I will guarantee is not going to start 10-1, will start much shorter, is number 10, Ice Rain, who tries the poly for the first time. I'll begin with the horse that is at the top of the betting boards, number 4, Goodness Gracious Me, Rael, and having watched that East Coast handicap, which was won by Mascherina, and having a look at the way they placed this filly prior to that run, I think 2,000 meters at this stage of her career looks to be too far for her because she was just one pace to out. She found nothing in the closing stages of the race, and I'm sure on advice from both jockey and possibly, analyzing the pedigree, they've decided, let's not even go that far in a career as a 3-year-old. So this is the right move, 1,600 meters, because her form over shorter does grab your attention.
Yeah, these last time out, there were expectations about this filly to possibly arrive in the East Coast Cup, and she let her side down. But as you mentioned, possibly a bit too far at this point in time. Western Cape form was fairly good. I liked her run when finishing second to Call Me Getrix. I thought she would actually win that day, but finally won too good. She seems like quite a decent filly, and perhaps the yard would have expected her to notch up that second win already. But I think she has obvious claims. She's not my top choice in the race, though. I like a horse and I like a horse a lot. It's a horse that I don't think you've got in your play. But maybe for pick sixes you do, but otherwise I don't think so. D's number 5, Lock and Key. I think she's going to be a massive runner. I'm actually going to take a stance in the place accumulator and banker this filly. Her last start, she would have just needed it a touch. I think she's going to be cherry ripe now, returning just over 3 weeks later. She was far from disgrace, beaten 3.5 lengths behind That's My Baby over a distance that I would say is short of her best. She now goes over 1,600 meters, which she's only been once before in her career, and that was as a 2-year-old in a Grade 1, the Tiquini behind Quid Pro Quo. So there's no doubt in my mind that she'll get the trip. On her pedigree, she's crying out for this distance, and I like this filly a lot. Gavin Larina takes her out for Glenn Cotton. She's lightly raced. There's plenty of scope for improvement still, and she goes on the poly track. She's had one run for one victory, and that was on Hollywoodbets Durbanville July Day last year when beating Tamil Tigress. So I think that Lock and Key is going to be a massive runner. She's going to be my top choice in the race, and I think at around 7-2 in the market, looks to be an attractive price for me. I've
tipped a third rail. I've gone 4, 10, 5 and 2, and if you want to include one more, If you're playing with a rule that I play with, half the field, and you need 5 runners. So I've gone 4, 10, 5, 2, and 6. 4, 10, 5, 2, and 6 with my numbers. Those look to be the right 5 horses in the race. Touched on number 4. Ryle touched on number 5, Lock and Key. She's having a third run back from a long break, and she could be ready to put her best foot forward. But that long break, maybe has done her a world of good, and she just needed runs. Ice Rain is a horse that grabs my attention in a big way here, because that last start behind Give Me Everything, I thought was a superb effort considering how far back she was turning into the home straight. If she goes on the poly track, massive runner. And then number 2, Jindark for Stuart Ferry. I'm not going to read too much into a run in the Guineas. That was a hot field, and she didn't settle at all. So if you're looking for numbers here, 4, 10, 5, 2 and 6 will be the 5 runners for the pick 6 if you are playing, with 5 runners out of the 10. But Ryan likes number 5, a banker in the place accumulator. For the place accumulator that I'll be taking, I'll be including number 4, Goodness Gracious Me, and the outsider. Number 10, Ice Rain.
Next up is race number 7, and the 7th race will be the start of Jackpot 2. It is a class 5 of the 1,000 meter trip. 14:40 is the off time. Favorite here is number 6, Captain's Pride, 2-year-old filly, taking on older horses, and she is taking on the boys here. She is at 16-10. I think she's very short in the market. 3-1 Griffin Park, 5-1 Purple Powerhouse, Maneki Neko at 6-1. That's number 3. Number 1 Mask On is a 7-1 shot. It's then 14-1 and Better Bar Those. I like this horse in number 3, Maneki Neko. I think that Pete Porter could have a nice day on Wednesday. When you have a look at this horse's form, last time out behind Rafa Boy, I don't think he was entirely disgraced. I think he would have just needed that run a touch. He was taken on a lot stronger than what he does meet here. He's dropped a further point in the rating, now racing off a mark of 70. He's not the most reliable sort around, not the most honest or genuine horse, but I think he is capable on his day. And with the 4 kgs off once again, jumping from gate number 3, trying the poly track for the first time, I think he's got quite a bit in his favour on Wednesday it is. And I think at about 6-1 in the market, I think that represents a bit of value in a race where I think the favourite is beatable.
If that wins, I'm out of everything.
Yeah, I'll take that stance with you.
Number 3, Maneki Neko.
I thought you talked about the 6.
If that wins, number 3, Maneki Neko.
No, it's easy. You have to put it in.
Okay, I'll listen to you if you're playing wide, especially if Silver Platzer's a horse that we're going to bank it in, possibly. But, the filly, just to add to what you're saying, you mentioned that she's taking on older horses, first run out the maidens, but more to than that, she's been racing down the straight at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. She now goes around the turn, and she goes on the poly track for the first time. So, good luck if you're going to go with the 2-year-old. I could be way off the mark. She could be, better than this field, but the horse that I like a lot here is Griffin Park. MJ Odendaal, Sean Veal, Hollywood Racing combination is flying. Go and watch the replay of her last 2 runs where she was poorly drawn in small fields. Both those runs have been good. She'll have the run of the race from draw number 2. I say whatever beats her wins. And the only danger is the ever-consistent number 5, Purple Powerhouse. So Hollywood Racing got a strong hand here. Numbers 2 and 5 were my play here, with my outright selection being number 2, Griffin Park. But, if you're going to sway me in the camp of number 3, Maneki Neko as an outsider, I don't want to be left.
Space for one win the pick 60s. You've got space.
Okay, 3 runners. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 doesn't sound too bad.
Exactly. There we go.
So Maneki Neko, Ryan likes that as an outsider. One-time winner, first go on the poly track. Maybe Mkolisi Mputo could be, the key with the claim 4 there. So, trifectas and quartets, I agree with Ryle number 3, but he's trying to sway me in his camp for the pick 6. Maybe he'll do so on race day. But I like number 2, Griffin Park, a lot. Ryle likes number 3, Maneki Neko, and that's a wrap of race 7. Well, the 8th race is a fillies and mares class 5 over 1200 meters. When it goes to these low divisions, fillies and mares races, it is any type of result that can be expected. There is some form to work around here in race number 8, and there are a few horses that could come up that have very little form to recommend. It doesn't surprise me when we get these results in these low division fillies and mares handicaps, but in this race, I'm not looking for any spooks here, Rael. Whilst there are horses that, you can make a case for, this is how it looks with the betting. Number 1, Cape Capri, 5-1. 2, Drive By at 4-1. Then we got number 3, On Board at 3-1. 4, Copacabana at 4-1. There's some money for number 5, Chicago Last, 25-1 into 16-1. And 8, Quintasia is at 3-1. I'd like to suggest there's 3 runners in all bets here. In order of preference, I'm going to go 3, 4, and 1. That's what I like here in race number 8.
Do you believe 4 will turn the form around with the 8 horse?
I'm just looking at the draw positions and the fact that, that 1200 meter win from Quintasia, she had things her own way that day when she was drawn 1. Now she's drawn 8 on a 9. It does make things a little more trickier for the young man.
I think you could be right with that. Obviously, it's not going to be easy from the draw, but I like this filly On Board. I think that last start against the boys was a very good run, considering that she needed the run. She was not 100% fit that day. She went in with 61.5, having to concede weight. She gave the winner 11 kilos that day.
You know what worries me about that run? I pulled out that form line. 15 runners are counted in total. No winners. 15 runners. A bad form line.
It certainly doesn't get you interested on the form, but on what she produced, I think that's what we've got to go on. She's back against same-sex company. She jumps from gate number 3. The distance is no issues. She'll strip a much fitter horse for this run as well. And
Quality track should be good.
I think it will be sweet for her. I don't
Especially that she's drawn well.
Yeah, I don't see it as a concern. I think she's going to get the right run in transit. We've got a race where we've got a couple of these apprentices that have got 4 off the back. There's going to be speed in the race. I think it's going to suit her quite nicely, and she'll be doing her best work at the finish. So 3 for me, that's my top choice. Cape Capri, Healthy Respect. 4, Copacabana. And then Quintasia, who was a winner last time out, can get involved as well. But 3, that's the top choice, followed by number 1, Cape Capri, and then 4 and 8.
3, 1, 4, and 8 for Raheel. I'm going to go 4, 3, 1, and 2. So, we got numbers 2 and 8 that are clashing for those minor positions. Otherwise, it becomes 5 out of the 9 runners, which makes it a field race for me. But at least we agree on our top choice here, number 3, On Board. And Ryan likes numbers 1 and 8 as well. But it looks like a race where, you can possibly get through with the form horses in the race. If you want to follow the outside money for a nice outsider, follow number 5, Chicago Last, that's been backed anti-post, 25-1 into 16-1.
Race number 9, final leg of the Pick 6 and a place accumulator. 1550 is the off time, 1400 meters the distance, and it is a middle stakes. Favorite at the time of recording, number 5, Golden Destiny, trading at 7-2, 4-1 about number 7. This is what it means. Number 11, Legal Counsel, 6-1 number 1, Nelson Bay. Number 9, Icy Blast, it's 8-1. And Better Bar. Those another one of those very, very competitive races where you probably need to include a few horses in the exotics. These race 9, what's your thoughts here? I think there's value on offer with number 4, Proud Master, just based on the fact that he's back on the poly track, on a surface that he thrives on, and I don't see the distance being of any concern for me at all. He's a win over track and trip, and I think he'll run well, but I don't believe that it's straightforward.
Yeah, that's a nice pick if it has to arrive for the exotic, because the horse is trading in double figures. He hasn't been at his optimum of late, but that said, he's been racing against some strong, highly competitive races. I prefer him over a bit shorter, number 4, Proud Master. I know that he's won over the distance. In fact, he's won over the course in distance, but I prefer him over slightly shorter. 1,200 meters, I think, is his best trip. So he could be a nice horse for quartets and trifectas. Going to take a big chance here, Royal, with just 3 runners in numerical order, numbers 1, 7, and 11. If I have to tip them in order of preference, it'll be 1, 11, and then 7. The source Nelson Bay for Peter Muscat, course and distance winner. The fact is that, when you compare draw 1 to draw 11, I'd rather be in that pole position. So that's the reason why I'm swayed with 1 Nelson Bay ahead of Legal Counsel, who I think is a very nice horse from the Justin Snate stable. And although he was 4 lengths behind I Salute You last time out, he may have just needed his first run in the province, and he was favourite that day in the Sledgehammer. Salukwe and Narina Trogon coming through to run first and second in the WSB 1900 from that form line. He'll strip much fitter for this race, and he needs some luck from the draw. And then number 7, this is what it means. Really like the manner in which he finished off his race last time out. I don't see an issue with the distance. I know that he's tried it early on in his career, but he's a fitter horse now. He's a more mature horse now, and he seems to be in excellent form. And he wasn't pushed up too much for winning last time out. He got 6 pounds, which is 3 kgs. But the way he won that race, I think he can still hold horses like 8 Except Temptation and 9 Icy Blast, who finished behind him, because they are 1.5 kgs better off at the weight. So I'm going to go with 3 runners here, numbers 1, 7, and 11 in all bets. But my top choice is number 1, Nelson Bay.
I think it's tough. 1, 5, 1, 4, 5, 8, 9. Yeah, I think those are going to be the horses that I'm looking to play around here, and especially in the last leg of Place Accumulator. I think it's a matter of survival here, because you're going to drop a lot of tickets, and Place Accumulator coming into the final leg, I think it's going to be worth a few rands as well. So I think it's just a matter of being able to get through. Number 1, Nelson Bay, 6 to 1, but I think each way value in the race. Number 4, Proud Master at around 14 to 1.
Well, if you play it into Jackpot 2, which started in race number 7, this is the last leg of Jackpot 2, race number 10, a class 4 over 1,600 meters. And what a race to close things off. You are going to get a nice quartet here if you try and get this right. I got some horses that I like that are at big prices as well for that quartet. But we'll bring up the field, have a look at some betting. Number 1 is Night Rocker, Muscat, and Jacobs. That's at 5 to 1. Then we go on to number 3, White Seahorse at 7 to 2. Horse number 7, Ibuto, is at 4 to 1. 8, Preemptive Strike, Muzieni now rides at 5 to 1. 9, Pleased to See You at 8 to 1. And that is it. The others are all in double figures. I like 5 runners here. I think you can play around these 5 runners for your jackpot and whatever bets you're taking. I'll just give you short comments, Royal, on my 5 runners. Number 1, Night Rocker, Muscat, and Jacobs from pole position. I think we'll reverse it with Ibuto this time out from what I saw last time out over this 1,400 meter trip. Number 3, which is White Seahorse, not a bad post maiden run. Nicely drawn this time compared to 8 out of 11 last time out. Horse number 9, Pleased to See You. Don't leave this out of anything. The form line is absolutely deadly behind Down by the River. 4 winners, including Mr. Nibbles, horse called Ibuto, Tobacconist, and that other horse, I think it's pronounced Inquele. So form line to follow from number 9, Pleased to See You. Then I got 2 roughies here, right? Number 6, The Gliding Fish at 16 to 1.
And 10, Chanabury.
And 12, Rodriguez at 25 to 1. So 1, 3, 9, 12, and then 6. 5 horses for Jackpot 2. Play around those numbers for quartets and trifectas.
This is a tough race. I think White Seahorse is the right horse in the race. I think he could be a roving banker at 7 to 2 if you're looking to play quartets. Number 9, Pleased to See You, I agree with him. I think 8 to 1. I thought he may just be double figures considering his last start. He's better than that. And you touched on that form line, so he's got to be given a mention. This was Chinaberry. He was off the track for a very long time, and he maybe just needed his last 2 outings. He could show improvement. He could show big improvement because he's dropped in the ratings again, now on a mark of 86, and he's dropped in class as well. So there could be something on offer here with number 10, Chinaberry, if you are looking for another roughie to include into the play. And number 7, Ibuto, he'll have his supporters as well. But I think it's a very, very trappy race to end up close up proceedings. If I were to add one horse onto your 5, I would just mention number 10, Chinaberry, and then you basically summed it up there.
Give us a roving banker.
3.
Horse number 3, White Seals for Royal at 7-2, going to be the banker
What
there.
would be yours?
Oh, I'd like to actually play 2 big roughies here. Numbers 6 and 12 as roving bankers. Number 6 is a 16-1 shot, and number 12 is 25-1.
If those 2 arrive, the quartet is paying rockets.
I mean, it's worth it, You play number 6 and 12 at big prices, and then you just hope for, they run into the top 4, and if they do just that, then you're looking for anything to run within the top 4 positions, and you're guaranteed a big dividend. Often you find a nice roughie to include in all bets. The horse runs well and finishes in the top 4. Then you try to pick horses, and you get the roughie arriving, and you pick horses and they don't arrive. You feel absolutely gutted. So if you've got 2 roving bankers and they arrive, then you just rather play the field.
If you got 2 arrive, wow. You're the man to follow them.
Well, let's see what happens on Sunday.
16-1, and what's it, 25-1?
Yeah, 16-1, number 6, the Gliding Fish, and 25-1, number 12, Rodriguez. They're nice horses, especially for jackpot 2.
Especially if one of them win. Wow.
Yeah, you got 2 runners in the race, 16-1 and 25-1. But, we're just trying to find things to make it pay. It looks like a tough end to jackpot 2, but an absolute pleasure being alongside Ryle for this preview show of Wednesday, where we're on the Poly track on the 23rd of May at Hollywoodbets Greyville. So for Ryle, Radhakrishna, Gallop TV, and myself, T's Dynan, to you, the valued racing fan, all the best if you are playing on Wednesday. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gasle.